money conscious person is very practical. He knows that money is a resource. Without that, we cannot achieve anything or everything in life. To keep yourself self-motivated is a very important thing. And without ethics, if you make wealth, that wealth will not stay.
Welcome to this another amazing episode of Chanakya Unscripted with India's #1 business author and my mentor, Dr Radhakrishnan Pillai. Sir, welcome to this podcast.
Thank you so much, Mansi. Thank you all the audience for being part of this podcast.
Today is a very special episode, sir, because we are going to talk about how a person can become rich. And I remember that, from last 2 years, you've been telling me that become money conscious, not money minded. So can you please explain the viewers what was the perspective behind this?
In fact, that's a very important distinction between being money-minded and being money-conscious. So let me tell you. So a money-minded person always looks upon money as the end goal. Only money is the objective. And whatever I may do, beg, borrow, steal, I need to make money. So that's being money-minded. Money-conscious person is very practical. He knows that money is a resource. Without that, we cannot achieve anything or everything in life. For example, Chanakya wrote the Artha Shastra. His overall objective was to create a golden era of India. But he was also very clear that we need to create wealth, money, and so that the society can prosper. That's exactly why I'm saying that all of you should be practical by being money conscious. It is very important to have money as a resource, but not money minded. That is not the end goal.
Okay, sir. Okay. So what is the right mindset you should develop before you think about wealth creation?
Very nice question, Mansi. The first most important mindset for wealth creation is the positivity that you have. Being positive. Because when you go to the path of wealth creation, it's not going to be easy. For example, when you have a startup or you're an entrepreneur, you will be surprised there will be a lot of problems. But to keep yourself self-motivated is a very important thing. When we look at a lot of business people who are successful and rich, we say, he's a very successful person with lots of money. But he or she has also gone through a lot of struggles. That's why I remember reading a small joke. There was a journalist who came to a very rich businessman and asked him, "You became rich overnight?" And he laughed at it and said, "No, I became rich overnight, but the night was too long."
Wow.
So we don't realize the struggle. So my suggestion to all of you who want to be wealth creators, the first thing is start with a positive mindset, and when problem comes, still continue with a positive mindset, and it's only positivity that will help you reach your final goal.
Okay. So people don't know the difference between money and wealth.
Yeah.
Could you please elaborate that?
So if you look at wealth creation, that's a very broad topic. It's macro, and money can be a micro kind of a topic. So when I say very rich, I've got lots of money. That may mean that you have lots of money in your bank account. It may mean that you have some shares with you. So that's very transactional in nature also. Yes, that's also wealth in some way. But money is a very narrow statement. Wealth means something that you create for everyone. For example, India is a wealthy country. So that means it has got many other things other than money. For example, it's got scientists working and creating maybe nuclear energy for the country. Then you have artists who are actually creating good movies and other shows for the society. Then let's say you have entrepreneurs who are working very dedicated with ideas. That can also be wealth. So wealth can be also sportsmen of a country. It can be mines, minerals, ores. So wealth is an overall thing. So when we say an entrepreneur has to create wealth, that means he has to create jobs. He has to create a lot of facilities for the others to become successful and productive in their respective jobs and their work profiles. So wealth creation is a very broad idea, and money creation is a part of wealth creation.
Okay. So what are the types of wealth? I remember in MALS you taught us that either you increase your knowledge, that can be your wealth, or relationships can be your wealth. So according to you, what types of wealth we should be aware of?
So there are many types of wealth, and of course in my book Chanakya and the Art of Getting Rich, I have written a lot of details about it. But to summarize the question, I can say there are 4 to 5 key categories of wealth. The first is intellectual wealth or what we also call as wealth of knowledge. Knowledge is wealth and wealth of knowledge. So suppose you got lots of degrees, you studied a lot, you've done an MBA, or you've done a PhD, or you have read a lot of books. Now you also become wealthy by your intellectual knowledge. So when you sit in front of somebody who's highly intelligent, you can debate and discuss with him or her. So we can say he's a very knowledgeable person, he's also a wealthy person. I know a lot of people who have lots of money, but when they sit across somebody who's intelligent, they can't contribute. So I say he may be rich, but internally is very poor. So first is intellectual wealth. Second, of course, is financial wealth, which everybody talks about. Very easy to understand. Got lots of bank balance. That's one way of looking. In the olden days, wealth also meant having land. Farmers have a lot of land there. They are also wealthy. Or we had a lot of cows, animals in our houses and villages. So we had so many cows, or we had so many other types of properties like trees or plantations. That is also wealth. But I think in today's generation, there is a new kind of wealth that has come in. It's called intellectual property. Okay, so a lot of people who are working with, let's say, technology have patented their ideas. So that patenting is also wealth. For example, if you look at the pharma companies, they have patents on certain discoveries. So these kind of new ideas, new creations can also be wealth. So different kinds of wealth. But I personally believe the greatest wealth that you can have is God's grace. Because if you have Bhagwan ki kripa or God's grace with you, you can never fail in your life. And let us not forget that the blessings of our parents and elders and teachers are equally wealth for us.
Absolutely. So you always teach us, and even in Arthashastra it is said that wealth has to be acquired ethically.
Yes.
So could you please explain ethical wealth creation?
Yes. So even a smuggler makes money, even a thief makes money, but he or she will finally land up behind the bars or in the prison. Why is it? Because that is also wealth, but not your own wealth. That is created by looting somebody. Now that is not ethical. Ethical means having a lot of moral values and making sure you are creating that money out of hard work, and of course with smart work also. So the whole idea is that without ethics, if you make wealth, that wealth will not stay. So the two Sanskrit words are Dharma and Artha. Dharmadi gataha arthaha. So along with Dharma, you should have Artha. Artha is wealth. So if you don't have the ethical way of making money, then all the wealth will go away. So it's very, very important to have patience in creating wealth. Sometimes it so happens that the wealth creation takes a lot of time. It gets delayed. But if you are on the right path, following spirituality, philosophy, ethics, morality, and your personal integrity, believe me, that wealth will not go away from you. The wealth that comes suddenly will also disappear suddenly. But the wealth that comes in the right manner, with the ethical values, it will remain with you forever.
So talking about forever, you also teach us that you have to be ever active. You have to create wealth. And there's a sutra in Arthashastra as well. So could you please give your perspective on that?
Absolutely. In fact, that's a leadership sutra from the Arthashastra. And it says the king, the leader, he or she has to be ever active. Because if you're not active, you will never be able to create wealth. And whatever wealth you have, that will also go away. For example, I'll give this business example. Let's say you are lucky to be born in a family where, let's say, your parents have a business worth, let's say, 100 crore. Just as an example. Now, let's say you are lazy. You are not interested. What will happen is that 100 crore wealth will disappear. And you will never be able to make it more than 100 crores. So what is that formula? The formula is being ever active. So I read once a joke. I am a millionaire. When my dad gave the business to me, I was a billionaire. So a billionaire actually became a millionaire. By what? By just being lazy. But let's say you're a millionaire. If you work very hard, you will become a billionaire. So it's very, very important that you be ever active. Now, as you said, Mansi, the word ever active. It is not active. Always active. A lot of people say, now it's a holiday. So today I am going to relax. Of course, you should relax. You should take care of your health. Take a break. But activity should go on. You should be always alert. So if you look at the internet world, now 24/7 it is making money. It is not that it's Sunday, so we cannot create wealth. It is not like working in an office or something like that. So wealth creation depends on your quality of being ever active. So if you're lazy, all your wealth is gone. If you're ever active, even when you're sleeping, you can make money. Absolutely. Sleeping in the sense that you make your systems and processes, like I give the example of the internet era, where you can have your own website, you can have your app, and that will keep working. Like today, the banking system, you can do transactions 24/7, even on a bank holiday. So that is wealth creation. But the activity should go on forever with ethics, morality, and strategy.
So, what is the role of swadharma in wealth creation?
Oh, that's a beautiful question. It is said that everybody has got some talent, what we call as God-given gift. So that's your swadharma. Swa means mine. Dharma means something which is natural to me. So, for example, you may be a very good artist. I may be a very good writer. Now, I can get inspired by you. You can get inspired by me. But I may not be able to create wealth the way you do, and vice versa. So you should first of all identify what is that one thing that is unique in you. For example, Sachin Tendulkar, he was a cricketer. Now probably if he became an actor, he may not be able to make so much money the way he made it in sports, and vice versa. Amitabh Bachchan was a very good, or rather is one of the very profound actors. Let's say Lata Mangeshkar, when she was alive, one of the greatest singers. So understand what is the kind of a quality that you have which is unique. Focus on that, make it your talent, make the talent into your profession, and you will make lot of money. For example, Virat Kohli, you see, as a cricketer, and of course he does some other assignments about ads and all that, but if he stops playing cricket very well, then all his wealth is gone. So it's very important to know what is that unique thing, swadharma, that you have. I have been fortunate that my swadharma is to read, write and teach. So if I'm able to do that, I'll create wealth for myself and others. So identify your swadharma, focus on it, make it your profession, and wealth will follow.
Wow. So in the workshop, you always teach us that you should have awareness of financial acumen. So can you please explain that?
So a lot of people don't understand what is financial acumen. They think that they did a course, that's an MBA or something like that, they'll develop it. Not necessarily. Like I have seen a lot of business communities, Gujaratis, Marwadis, Kachis, Sindhis, the traditional Indian communities. Now if you look at it, they may or may not have got educated, but they have a sense of wealth creation. So that is what I call as business acumen. So let me explain that with a person I know. Now this particular person is only 10th pass, but he has got a business worth 8,000 crores. I used to wonder, he itna padha likha nahi hai, he's not that educated, how can he run a company? And 8,000 crore, and he's got 25 businesses.
25 businesses.
So now you'll be surprised.
Yeah.
So that's the business acumen. He exactly knows 2-3 things. So when I asked him, how do you create so much money, wealth for everyone? He says, first things first. Business is never done alone. It is done with everybody together. So you have to make your clients happy, you have to make your suppliers happy, your infrastructure should be good. Let's say you have a small shop or a big office. It has to be clean, neat, hygienic. You have to pay your people well in time. You have to make sure that you have value addition. Then you deal with the bankers correctly. He even told me that you should pay your taxes on time. So I said okay. And then he also used to know that nobody could fool him. So one is giving, but at the same time he knows that you should have control over your finances. Yeah. So when you understand all these put together is what we call the business acumen. So acumen is the ability of sensing what is right and wrong. And the good news is that if you study and you get mentored, you can develop this financial acumen also.
So do you have any particular mentors for this?
Absolutely. In fact, I as a mentor also have my own mentors.
Wow.
So remember this formula, every mentor has a mentor. And if you want to succeed, you should also have mentors. And I have many mentors. I have 3 categories of mentors. First is a spiritual mentor, whom I call my spiritual gurus. So whenever I am having a problem, I go to them for spiritual matters. Then I have business mentors who tell me how to make money. And the third is called technical mentors. My laptop is not working, so I can go to a mentor like that. So different subjects, different mentors.
So if when we have to create wealth, do we need mentors even for that?
Of course. In fact, without mentors, you should not do anything. In fact, even when a baby is walking, it requires the guidance and the mentorship of the mother, all the elders in the family. So wealth creation is very big. How can you create wealth without mentor? So I always believe that having a mentor on your side will help you to create wealth many times.
Okay, so top 5 mistakes that people should avoid or aspiring entrepreneurs should avoid during wealth creation.
First things first, have a mentor.
Yes.
So don't start your entrepreneurial journey without a mentor. That's the first mistake a lot of people say. I have a great idea. You may have a great idea, but my question is, who is your great mentor? He or she. It could be as simple as your parents. It could be one of your teachers. I don't know. But first mistake entrepreneurs make is not having a mentor. Second, impulsive decisions. So I'm not saying that we should not take fast decisions or quick decisions. But impulsive is when you take decision without thinking. So it's very, very important. Consult matured people and then take a decision. Third mistake, I, me, myself. So a lot of people think that I am the person who is responsible. No, I believe that at the end of the journey, it is always teamwork.
Yes.
So entrepreneurs should have a team with whom they work. Fourth, very important, and that is profitability. You may be having lot of good ideas, but did you convert that into money? Did you convert that into wealth? Did you make profits? Because at the end of it, your success is determined by the profits you made. And fifth and the most important, according to me, the mistake that it's only a business journey. No, it's a spiritual journey. According to me, everybody who is an entrepreneur is also a spiritual person. Your field could be entrepreneurship, but take it as if it's your path towards your inner self or spirituality. So if you make your entrepreneurial journey a spiritual journey, believe me, it's going to be fun, and all the challenges that come on the way, you'll be able to withstand all the problems.
Wow, that's really insightful. So in your book, Chanakya and the Art of Getting Rich, in chapter number 6, this was very much intriguing that startup leaders create more wealth. And even now, National Startup Day has been announced. And it was already mentioned over here that startup leaders create more wealth. So sir, could you please emphasize on this?
Yeah. So who is a startup? And who is an employee? So an employee is the one who looks for a job. And a startup is the one who creates jobs. So instead of looking out for a job, you have to create jobs. Unfortunately, entrepreneurship is a journey which is very lonely in the beginning, but slowly people start joining in. And then you create wealth, you create jobs, and you help a lot of people. So I personally believe that a startup company enterprise actually gives the benefit of a lot of jobs to others. So my suggestion is that it's easy to take up a job. Of course, after getting a job, you should work also very hard. But it's not very easy to create jobs. But if you are on the path, if you have a right vision, you have good mentors, and you have a long-term approach, you will not only be a good entrepreneur, but you will create a lot of jobs, and also you will create a lot of wealth for everyone.
So not a lot of startups, founders, they get mentors. So any advice for them who want to start their entrepreneurship journey, who want to create wealth, but they don't have the idea or probably the right strategy on how to create wealth. So anything for them?
So first things first, read a lot of books about successful entrepreneurs. So a lot of people are there who are successful financially. Maybe somebody like a Bill Gates or an Elon Musk. Now the good news is that all of them have written books, or some people have written books on them. So when you read them, you will come to know, oh, they went through this particular problem. Second, podcast and videos. Today there are a lot of podcasts and videos available, and the good news is that all of them are free.
Absolutely.
So like this one, you're doing
Yes.
free. So you can learn from the success of others without spending money. So books, podcasts, videos. Third, the most important thing is that even if you hear about others, you may require personal customized mentoring for you.
Wow.
So what worked for Elon Musk may not work for you. Maybe you are in a different field. What worked for maybe Narayan Murthy of Infosys may not work for you because you may be in a different field.
Correct.
So my suggestion is that make a list of retired people from your field.
Retired people?
Yes, and I'll tell you why I'd say retired people. Like for example, you're starting an IT company. Okay. Now you may get inspired by Elon Musk, but Elon Musk wasn't really an IT person in that sense. So then what do? Look at the people who are retired from maybe a good software company, something like an IBM or a Microsoft or anything, So when you make a list of retired people, you have one advantage. You have the experience of those people for so many years. Second, after retirement, they are free and nobody comes to them. And especially if they're a government officer. So, as long as they're in power, people come to them. But once they're retired, nobody goes to them. So I have made this formula in my life also. Those people who are retired, go to them, talk to them. They will guide you and they will not charge you also. So I would say it's mentoring without giving any Guru Dakshina. But of course, when you succeed, you should give the Guru Dakshina. But the whole idea is that having such people on your side will be benefited. Like one of my books, Chanakya's 7 Secrets of Leadership, was co-written by D. Shivanandan, who was the former Director General of Maharashtra Police. Now think about him, such a high-profile police officer telling me about leadership.
Yes.
So find a good mentor. If he is not retired also, it's fine. But if you get retired people, they have more time to spend with you.
Correct. So since you spoke about Chanakya and the 7 pillars, can you please elaborate the kosha, the 5th pillar?
Absolutely. In fact, as you know the Saptanga model, Swami Amatya Janapada, Durga Kosha Danda Mitra, Iti Prakrityaha. So 7 pillars put together becomes a great kingdom. So a great king, Swami, along with Amatya, the ministers, happy citizen, Janapada, good fortified city, infrastructure or Durga. Then comes Kosha, good financial, treasury, Danda, army and Mitra, allies. So if you look at it, Chanakya gives a lot of importance to Kosha. Kosha is where the treasury is. In the olden days, there used to be a treasury box or there used to be a room where all the wealth was kept. We don't have to think about treasury from a physical standpoint. The Kosha can be your department, your bank account, your finance department or your bank account. But it's very important to know the rules. The Chanakya says for a healthy treasury. So you can have money, but it can't be black money. Or it can't be dirty money. It has to be legal money. And today the government will come behind you, not only in our country but anywhere in the world. So if you have to make sure your kosha should be ethical, what you asked, it has to be spiritual in nature also. Dharmadhigataha. And it should be for others. Not only I have to fill up my treasury for myself. No. If you are a leader, make money for yourself, but make money for everyone. In fact, Chanakya says the treasury should not be full. The treasury should be overflowing.
Oh, okay.
So if you want 10 crore, you should have 15 crores. Good problem to have. Then from a wealth creator, you become an investor into others who can create wealth.
Wow.
And that's what I've seen a lot of business communities. They make money and then they help others to make money. So they take the extra money that they have and they invest into other companies. So why only make money for yourself? Help others also to make money. So you can first be a wealth creator and help others also to become a wealth creator. And that's why the concept of kosha should be overflowing, not just full.
Okay. So how do you have this overflowing kosha? And if it's a startup, then how can they do this?
In the initial stages, it won't happen.
Yeah.
But in the long term, it will happen. So let me give an example of, let's say, Apple.
Yeah.
Okay, Apple is one of the most happening companies in the world, and it's also one of the most valued companies in the world. We know the Apple products, right, from mobile to maybe the laptops, a lot of other things. But do you know the financial acumen of Apple is so good? There's so much extra money that they're buying out a lot of their mines. Like for example, if you've seen an Apple laptop, what we call a Macintosh, Mac Air, Mac Pro and all this, they're all made out of aluminium. And Apple have actually gone and bought out aluminium mines.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So their work is not buying mines, but they have so much excess funds that they can afford to buy mines and get the cost reduced for the manufacturing. Another example is McDonald's. If you look at McDonald's, their main cash flow or revenue is selling burgers, and then Coca-Cola and all that other things. But do you know McDonald's actually goes and buys out their land and then create their own stores. So if you go to anywhere in the world, they are at the peak points. So they are able to do it because they have money.
Correct.
So that's why it's very important that you have extra funds. You can go and expand your business. So coming back to the question that you had is how do we do that extra? You require a good financial acumen, CFO, Chief Financial Officer, who can work on that and make it more wealthy.
So, which is that one sutra from Kautilya Arthashastra, which you have been following consistently to create your wealth?
In fact, that is my favorite sutra, which says Artha eva pradhanaha iti Kautilyaha. So, pradhan means important. Artha is wealth. Eva, only. In fact, when I first read this, I was feeling what kind of a person is Chanakya. He's only telling money. But no, then I realized, he's very practical. कुछ भी करने के लिए पैसा लगता है. I read a beautiful statement once which says, in the 20s, if you are not a socialist, you don't think about the society, you don't have a heart. But in the 40s, if you don't think about money, you don't have a head.
Wow.
Because when you grow older, you realize one thing, it's not that money minded, again money conscious. So I always think about anything that I do, finance is very much required. That doesn't make me money minded, but it makes me practical. So all of you should remember, as you go ahead in life, in the initial stages you should have a vision, but to make the vision reality also you require money. So Chanakya, I would say, was among the first capitalist of the world. He knew that you require resources. So if you look at my own role model company, which I think is a role model company for most of you, Tata Group of companies. So they are creating wealth, but they are not money minded. But whatever they create, they give it back to the society. So my favorite sutra is Artha eva pradhanaha iti Kautilyaha. Kautilya is Chanakya. So he believes in that.
Wow. Thank you. This was the amazing episode, exclusive episode of Art of Getting Rich. We have an upcoming workshop next week. If you are interested, there's a link below in the description. For more inquiries, please click on the link and enroll for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mansi, for being such a wonderful host.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.